Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our Global TV Deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big him and Joe one stone, and he bring about the feeling a man throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Stibby-dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep. And some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for we in Global TV. Check it.
Good evening and welcome to Global TV. Thank you all for joining us. While we were taking care of the dentist damage, many things were falling apart in our country. You must imagine the irritation that I've been going through in the silence while the country's been torn apart by this crooked government. Presidents and prime ministers regularly, generally, and usually take an oath to defend your constitution, that document which protects and upholds your rights. Andrew Holness did as well, but actually does quite the reverse. Attacks after attacks after attacks on the constitution. This time, a blatant subversion, which I don't think I hear people making much of a brouhaha about that it is. So, of course, we're going to wallow over some of the things we have been missing in the last few days. And of course, the baby killer, Dr. Christopher Tufton, strikes again. 24 babies in 24 days. Remember the other 8 babies as well, who Dr. Tufton covered up their death from an infection that they failed to tell us about. The killing field of the National Health Service in our country continue day after day. We were just been told the other day by Dr. Bruce, not Dr. Bruce rather, no, Dr. Bruce is the criminal one. We were told by Dr. Roger Hunter that this government is calling 15,000 of us on an annual basis. Or babies are at risk, or babies are being called by Dr. Tufton, and there's literally no outrage in our country. All right, now stop and tell the people good evening. Good evening and welcome, everyone, to Global TV. How are you all doing? Thank you all for joining us this evening, Sunday evening, quite yet still a warm time in this country. We're still in the 20s and it's 11:15, and for the next few days we're expected to be in the low to mid 30s. So we're basking in the glory of the winter, the summer weather in this country. Rather, to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters and trolls, the wicked Labourite and the lazy PNP, good evening. Thank you all for joining us and welcome one and all. Marcia Thomas, good evening and welcome. Sharon Bernard, good evening. Debbie Jervis TV. I noticed StreamYard have some little bit of changes. It's showing me people handle now rather than their names. Debbie Jervis TV, good evening, good evening. Hero Bottom, good evening. Sunshine, good evening and welcome. Monica Wills, good evening. It confuses me like this. Never mind. Sophia Hall, good evening and welcome. Donnet Harriet, good evening. Evan Bradford. Is it Ashani Marcus? Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Winston Daly, good evening. Who else is here? Jeanette Brissett, good evening. Colleen James, good evening and welcome. Donovan Williams. No, not Donovan. Donna Williams. Oh, the name them giant together confused me. Sorry. Good evening. Renice Nicholson. Good evening, Kayla Shelley. Canadian Gal 24, good evening. Who else is here? Colin, good evening. Good evening. Mel, good evening. Good evening, all, and welcome. Shamrock 8766, good evening. Good evening. Joseph Hewitt, good evening. Sherrock Promotion, good evening. Senate Beckford, good evening. Good evening. Sharon Moulton, good evening. Kevin Henry. Denise Hilton, good evening. Good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome. All right, Denise, I'll try to keep up. I'm a bad administrator at times, but I'll try to keep up. TikTok, good evening and welcome. Well, we're back on TikTok. All our channels are clear up. So far, we don't know how long. I don't know when TikTok don't live good. We don't know how far it will go. Colleen, DJ, Debbie Jervis, Color, good evening, Bethoy. I am Raquel. Richard Daly, good evening, Michael Henry, everyone, good evening and welcome. Subversion of our Constitution, Arlene Scott, good evening. Subverting the Constitution, blatant disregard for the constitutional norms, the Constitutional Convention, or anything or Constitution. This Prime Minister regularly takes a chop at it. And you have seen the recent chop at the government attack on the Constitution. I am surprised that the PNP has not taken this to court because there is a precedent for this. The Prime Minister brought Parliament to an end days before it should have, or it was planned to, for the reason of avoiding tabling an integrity commission report, avoiding scrutiny, avoiding questions, hiding information of public interest from us, the people. In a bid to do that, Janet Pinnock, the Prime Minister has subverted our Constitution by bringing Parliament to an end before the planned date. I was expecting the People's National Party to take this to the court because there is actually a precedent for this. This was done in the United Kingdom by Boris Johnson in a bid also to avoid scrutiny on the Brexit deal that Boris Johnson reached with the Union after Theresa May couldn't have reached a deal. Boris Johnson wanted to avoid questions and scrutiny. Gloria Morris, how are you? Boris Johnson, in a bid to avoid questions and scrutiny on his Brexit deal, went to the Queen, prorogued Parliament illegally in order not to have to face those questions. The case was taken to court. Gina Miller, who advanced the case, won in the High Court. It was leapfrogged, Verna Adams, Cleveland. It was leapfrogged to the Supreme Court because of the constitutional importance. And a leapfrog means avoiding the appeal court. So you go direct from the High Court up to the Supreme Court. So because of the importance of it and you need it to be settled law, then you automatically jump the appeal court and go straight to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court also, Annie Jones, ruled against Boris Johnson that he prorogued Parliament illegally. He lied to the Queen in order to prorogue Parliament. Now, whether this government has given us a chance, a reason or not, why, or given a reason to the Governor General, I'm not quite clear how Andrew Holness has done this, because it's hard to follow when Andrew Holness does not follow or respect the norm. The confusion for me here is we're in an election cycle which is due early September if Andrew Holness is taking us down to the wire of the conventional timeline. However, we know Sam want to use the 3-month timeline that the Constitution give him that might push him to December. Now, during the summer period as well, would have been July as was planned, possibly. Parliament generally goes on recess. But with an upcoming election, we would have been expect Parliament to be dissolved for the general election campaign. My confusion here with Andrew Holness, has he dissolved Parliament or is Parliament on recess? However, regardless either of the two, the Constitution has been subverted because he has bring the life of Parliament to an end where the work of the people was still there to be done, but because the Prime Minister wants to avoid particular scrutiny, he wants to go to the polls without the people know who they are voting for, whether we know that we're voting, there's a baby killer in the midst, we know that there's a gun importer in the midst. We want to know who are the thieves in the midst, Prime Minister. And this is what the Prime Minister is hiding. Joan Bailey, how are you? And I do think the People's National Party should have taken this to the court, because even whether Parliament dissolve or not, our Parliament is on a break. Andrew does it to avoid scrutiny, because if it that Parliament is on a break, Parliament won't be coming back until around September, isn't it? And if Parliament is away until September and an election is due then, does it mean that when Parliament reconvene, the Parliament is going to be dissolved immediately to go into a general election? Or is it that the Prime Minister is planning to stretch the constitutional wire to give him that extra 3 months to come back to the people and say, I have done this project and I have done this, wahala, woohoo, and all of that. But I don't think the People's National Party should have allowed Andrew Holness to trample on the Constitution without an emergency case in the court. Veteran, how you do? Bro, Parliament is not closed, is a rumor. What do you mean it's a rumor? Did Andrew not end it on the 24th, which they should have ended on the 2nd? Who used to make that rumor, Veteran? Because I heard Donna Scott Motley with it. There's an article in the Gleaner in relation to it. So If then he don't shut down Parliament, that means so we're gonna have the report tabled on Tuesday. But former IC Panton Stam Lawmaker and Oversight Committee Child Financial Secretary. But there's no story contradicting. I don't see any story contradicting what Donna Scott Motley says or what I see in the article. These two members of his cabinet said, so I've confirmed that today. Two members of his cabinet says what? Veteran. It's two members of his cabinet says so. No, I'm working on the information that was put out. It wasn't just what Donna Scott Motley says on the campaign. There is a Gleaner article put out, and I don't hear the People's National Party come out and refute that. But if that's not the case, then Parliament should reconvene on Monday and tomorrow. And as usual, we would generally have these reports tabled possible on the Tuesday, as we expect Parliament to sit during that time. But until well, me not the inside link. Me I work with the information with the outside. At the moment, the Gleaner put out a story 3 days ago and nobody has corrected it. The Gleaner has put out a story 3 days ago. It's not corrected. It's not refuted. Me not hear nobody from the Labour camp coming out to refute what Donna Scott Motley said on the campaign either. So until it is being corrected in the public, I am working with what is in the public at the moment. So the government, as we understand it, subvert Parliament by closing Parliament early to avoid scrutiny on the matter. The People's National Party should really have, if that's the case, have taken it to court, because the precedent set by the Supreme Court, by the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, the Jamaica Supreme Court must follow those rules. But I'm confused as to what Andrew Holness is also planning to do. Because if Parliament dissolves for summer recess, then Parliament won't be coming back until September. September is when we expect the general election would have been held, not called, ought to have been held in September. So I don't know at the moment. That is what I'm confused. Is he planning to stretch the Constitution over into the 3 months, which will take us to December? Or is the Prime Minister planning to just, when Parliament reconvenes, to just dissolve Parliament and go into an election campaign? That I'm not quite sure at the moment where and how it is going, because the truth is, with Andrew Holness, there isn't any clear way of knowing what Andrew Holness will do. You know what the norms are, but does Andrew Holness follow them is a total different thing when it comes to Andrew Holness. Constant attack on the Constitution. The bit with the people I'm going to after Dr. Tufton lump the two of them together. Dr. Tufton, 32 babies in 24 months. Wasn't it? Or no, let me not mix it up. At 2023 was the 8th dead baby, wasn't it? And then now you have 2025, 24 dead babies, Dr. Tufton. I've been in the United Kingdom for 27 years. But before I came here, Dr. Tufton, premature baby born in my family, where we have to put 2 towels, holding pan, 2 towels to feel like something in your hand. Never big like £1/4 of sugar, Dr. Tufton. He's alive and well. So the excuse, Dr. Tufton, of baby being born premature as to why we have a baby slaughter going on at Victoria Jubilee. At Jubilee, isn't it? You see, my problem is this Dr. Tufton is expected to become the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party at Andrew Holness's demise, which he might duck and dive, but slowly but surely, Andrew Holness, we are and we will be getting there. Dr. Tufton is expected to be the leader, the next leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. Beat and teach, Wagwan, welcome. Dr. Tufton is expected, if the golden 5-year term failed miserably, Dr. Tufton could return as Prime Minister for the country. This Dr. Tufton, who murdered 8 babies in 2023 and murdered 24 babies in 2025. I mean, he gave us 1 a day in his recent calling, didn't he? 1 a day. The bigger part of my problem is there's no outrage in the country, no outrage from the people. Rather, what we are asking is the same old bullshit that solves no problem. Oh, we want government to change. Oh, we want government to do better. That's why I know we are crazy. The last thing I would want and hope for is for the same person who waved the gun or the knife at me to look for help and solace from that person. The people of Jamaica regularly asking government to fix the ills of society. Yes, I do understand it's what we elect them for. It is what we pay them for. But good God Almighty, woman, can we not see now that Andrew Holness and his team is just a blatant gang of criminals? And if we have come to the realization and have accepted that this Prime Minister and his regime are a bunch of criminals, how then would we expect them to do any better than they are doing? I mean, we would be licking our head against the wall if we expect better from this government. I mean, it's 9 years of dismal failure, stealing, treachery. The Prime Minister said some bullshit the other day, which almost hold me and throw me up against the wall. Serious. high level bullshit you wouldn't expect. The Prime Minister was speaking at some, but we've done with the people of Jamaica first. You see, we bring the abuse onto ourselves, the abuse from government I'm talking about. Particularly rather, in our political atmosphere, where we sell our votes, we fall prostrate in front of politicians, we demigod them, we big man them. There's so much glorification of our politicians that makes them who they really are today. We place them on an untouchable pedestal. But in the middle of one election cycle to the other, 6 months or a year after we give them power, we start to complain. But when they come back to us, we give them power again without anything to be expected from it. We will not get better from government until we demand better. We will not get better leadership until we become leaders in our community and amongst ourselves. Our politicians are treating us as the rollover that we are. We don't want anything. We have no care, no love for our humanity, our lives, or our sanity. So it is madness. I've always thought this is madness for us to expect politicians to do good. Yes, we want them to do good. But haven't we got enough? Isn't this enough of a research? Let's say from 1962 to now. Isn't this enough of a research for us to make a pronouncement that we are never going to move forward with the type of politics in our country? We need the people to be at the center of our politics, which we aren't at the moment. Or politicians' purse, or politicians' quest for greed and power is at the center of our politics. We have gone to sleep, Jamaica, to the point where anybody and everybody can just do us anything and we accept it as the norm. Now, Dr. Hunter came out the other day and tell us the government is murdering 15,000 of us deliberately on a yearly basis, and there's no outrage in the country. 2023, 8 babies were killed by Dr. Tufton. There was no outrage in the country. This month, 24 babies killed, one per day, up until the 24th of this month. Not an ounce of outrage in the country. How then would you expect government to have any concern if government see that you have accepted it as the norm? You're not seeing a problem with it. You're not outraged about it. You don't demonstrate against it. You don't turn up out a hospital gate and bawl out murderers about it. You're all waiting to put on those short shorts, labor rights and PNP, and those green and orange t-shirt and those white and black shorts, and shake your ass for the KFC, and dip your finger in the ink for the $5,000, and then you're going to come back and complain. Andrew Holness wicked. Ota uno and Andrew Holness, who wickeder. Ota uno and Andrew Holness, who wickeder. Well, uno sit down, Jamaica people. Me not talk Labour and our PMP at the moment, me talk Jamaica people who sit down and allow Andrew Holness to wreck our country. Allow Andrew Holness to turn our country into a dictatorship. Allow Andrew Holness to break down everything called good governance in our country. Our attitude towards politics tells our politician we don't deserve better. It is why our politicians pay no attention to us until they seek power. It's only when it has come up to time to get power from us, the people, that our political class pay attention to us. We, the people, can change that, though. We, the people, can change that. If we stop voting to enhance them financially and in power, and rather for the benefit of us and our future, then they may just start working and start to do something. But as for now, until you, the people of Jamaica, wants the change, you're not going to have it. Andrew Holness was the Prime Minister who honed the Portia Simpson administration on the dead baby scandal in the Portia Simpson's government. The dead baby scandal has reached a high under Andrew Holness' government, but Andrew Holness cannot remove his top rival. Not at this point. Not at any point, because Andrew Holness have ample time from the 8 dead baby scandal to remove Christopher Tufton. Cousin Candy is welcome. But what Andrew Holness did was gave more power and money to Dr. Tufton to continue the onslaught on babies in the health care. 32 babies now, and there ought to and could be many more under Dr. Tufton and his team culling of babies at in our country. Andrew Holness tormented Portia Simpson's government. But Andrew Holness is times whole heap more dead babies under Andrew Holness' government. And Andrew Holness has turned a blind eye because it's all about politics. I cannot remove a rival, put on the back bench. Auntie Shelley, how are you? I cannot put a rival on the back bench at the moment that may become a thorn in my side that may cause me to lose the general election. We are going to the polls, Jamaica. We're going with thieves, criminals, baby killers, gun smugglers, rapists, and murderers. These are all the people that the Labour Party has put up on the ballot for us to vote for. People without integrity, such as the Prime Minister. People who have stayed there and filled their pocket out of the public purse, like the Prime Minister, his wife, and friends. At what point, though, will the people of Jamaica become outraged? Because Jamaican people don't get outraged at the polls. Because of the Wangagotism, Andrew Holness still stand a chance of winning a third term because there's a Wangagotism in our country where people decide to sell themselves cheap to nothing. It is why Andrew Holness has an undemocratic, overwhelming majority in Parliament at the moment. So the country is on a knife edge. Not just the election cycle upcoming is on a knife edge. The country is on a knife edge for good governance because we have seen, particularly in the last 5 years, where Andrew Holness has taken the country governance wise, leadership wise, integrity wise, because the integrity of the country and the prime minister run hand in hand. Thank you, cuz. The integrity of the country and the prime minister run hand in hand. If the prime minister is seen to lack integrity, it is the very image the country will bear from that. Look at the image of America under Donald Trump's leadership. Look at the image, Jamaicans, of America under Donald Trump's leadership. It is no different for Jamaica. Just as nobody sees America as trustworthy under Donald Trump, is it Alzheimer's or whatever he's having? He tells you good morning now and then he tells you in 2 minutes to fuck off and go your way. It's the very image of America. So a government without integrity, a government who is a blatant crook, a thief, a government who runs a cabinet of thieves who even plead guilty, like the cat Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. It is the very same image that our country bears internationally. A country without integrity, a country of crooks, a country led by crooks, a country of drug dealers and gun smugglers. I tell you how that works. You face it every time or most time you travel. You, the citizens of Jamaica, face that when you travel. When your plane land Jamaica, when the plane will only fly upon Jamaica land, immigration from Timbuktu and Jericho Wall turn up at the immigration desk. Dog, cow, cat, and everybody. It is what we face. It is because of the image of our country. So there's a backlash to everything. And Jamaicans alone at home feel the effects of negative leadership. We feel it abroad as well. When we travel, immigration target we because we're coming from that hellhole country. That country of drug dealers and gun smugglers and murderers and gangsters. You know, they are the lots they talk about. It's not just the gangs and dons in our country that gives our country that image. That image was given to our country by our very own politician who first started to import guns and create garrisons in our country. Both parties, not just JLP Hero, both parties. They have gangsterized our country. They have turned our country into turf war. Yes, politicians done that. They have divided us. They have allowed us to fight each other for trivial political bullshit while they steal from the public purse enrich themselves, and run off with the country's wealth. And no outrage from the people of Jamaica. What is our outrage? Gyrating on the political campaign, dipping our finger in ink for $5,000. I mean, you cannot give that to your high school child for 2 days or for a day. It's not, if it's stretched for a day, you could have problem to get it stretched for 2 days. It is what you're willing to sell your vote for. Look at your hospitals. Some of you don't even want to go there anymore. Especially now that you've learned that Dr. Tufton and Dr. Carl Bruce will butcher you if they get their hands on you. Many of you go to the hospitals and you sit down for hours and end, and you still have to go back home. Thank you, Debbie Jervis. Thank you. And you still have to go back home without being treated. That is not a concern for you, though, when it comes to going to the poll. When it comes to going to the poll, it's about the big man. One MP. This is the problem, Jamaica. You don't give a F about yourself. And the annoyance for me is that you want the government to care. Jamaica people, thank you, Debbie. Jamaica people who don't care about themselves want ruthless criminal governments to care about them. And then Jamaica people would want to tell me that they're not having psychosis problem. This is the lion. This is the goat saying to the lion after the attack, can you take me to the hospital? Can you, the lion, who have just bite into my throat, take me to the hospital? Pretty much what we're asking of our politicians. We choose them to steal from us, and then we ask them to spend money on healthcare and education. We choose them to kill us, and then when them turn the bad health care at us and turn the gun at us, we blame the gunmen. We cannot continue like this, Jamaica. We have to take leadership and governance into our own hand. A long time I want to know, nothing is going to change until the people is ready. Nothing is going to change until the people is ready. Changes doesn't come from God. Changes doesn't come from democracy. In fact, I view democracy as one of the most brutal systems of governance in this world. You all may have a different view. That's my view of democracy. Very corrupt and brutal. Democracy will not help. God will not help. Certainly, he really has no time for your bullshit. And your politicians who you're voting for, I guarantee you, they will not help either. The direction of a country is the direction of the people. Let me say it again. The direction of a country is the direction of the people. Now, you all have been told about democracy, and that democracy is mob rule, it's people rule, the majority rule. Is that really so? Is there leadership coming from the majority, which is us, the 99%, the downtrodden, those who they turn the injection needles and the guns at? The leadership of a country, the direction of a country is based on the people. The direction of your country is based on the people. If you allow your country or your government to turn your country into a dictatorship, it will happen because you stood silent while you were drifting into the democratic realm, the dictatorial realms. We cannot continue to blame government, my people, while we give them more power. We cannot continue to blame government and give them more power at the same time. We have to have some political idealism, Jamaica people. We can't continue with the stagnant tribalism that we have been caught up into, that our political class deliberately pushed us into to control us. Political tribalism is about control. Because when you're in that tribal atmosphere, you're in a tunnel. You fail to see everything. Thank you, Violet. Thank you. You fail to see everything outside of JLP and outside of PNP. That's what the political tribalism does to us. This is why our country is not policy centered. We have never, as a people, voted on policy because we're not a policy educated or a policy centered people. We're a tribal, bread and saltfish, curry chicken back and white rice, rum and beer ideology. That's what runs our country. And this is why everything is fucked up around us, because we're still waiting for the rice, the white rice and chicken back. We're still waiting for the rum and boom. And we're still waiting for the little jibs and jab that politicians come and use to rub over our mouth. We gave them power to steal for another 5 years. Jamaica people, will be me and after the next general election, because whoever win and anything me hear complain about, I'm going to remind you that your job, Jamaicans, across the 63 constituency and the 200 and odd divisions, is to scrutinize your political representative and on policies. That is what we need to become, a policy-orientated people. A country cannot advance on tribal lines because Labour got tear down PNP and PNP got tear down Labour. And we're in a cyclical cycle of tearing down each other and tearing down what one do to show that we are the better one. We're never going to advance like that, Jamaica. That is why 60 years, 60 other whatever years of independence, we are very stagnant. Everything has gone backwards. Economy, health, education, infrastructure, and many look past sport. We soon go have nothing for glorify about anymore. You know? Come like Usain Bolt, I forgot turn young all over again because everybody around now. Everybody, people are waking up to see that fuck this brand Jamaica. Fuck this I love Jamaica. Fuck this nowhere no better than yard. What has Jamaica done for us? But then again, what has we done for Jamaica? Because we have handed over to the thieves, haven't we? It is what we have done. We have handed over Jamaica to the thieves to the point where nothing is happening in Jamaica for anybody if you're not a thief. That's why everybody around, you know, everybody is running and look better somewhere because we have woke up to find out that we have handed over our country to thieves, to criminals, to gangsters. We have handed over our country and we are very relaxed about it. It means to say we have no spirit. We don't even see what's going on in our country right now. Because if we've seen the destruction that Andrew Holness and his regime has brought to the country, we will be out there demonstrating day and night against this government. That's what happened in a democracy. When your government has gone AWOL, when your government has gone off track, in a democracy, the people show their power, not Jamaicans. And then it really irritates me to hear Jamaican people talk about their democracy and them. Do you know your rights? Stop talking about rights, Jamaicans, because you don't know them. You don't know your rights. Because if you do, you certainly would have stand up to protect them. What you wouldn't have done if you respect and understand your rights, you first wouldn't give your power and your future to politicians. You wouldn't have done that. Let us go light. Pansita Pickles is home. Pansita Pickles. Imbanya. Imnyamya. But the truth is, though, Pansita Pickles is really at home. He should have been JLP for some very long time now. Will you be providing the services that Venetia Phillips provide is my question, Pansita Pickles.
Fire the Minister of Health! Fire the Minister of Health!
You should really do. You should say it, Prime Minister, and mean it. Fire the Minister of Health. The killing of our babies under Dr. Christopher Tufton and Andrew Holness is disgraceful. We have reached a level of killing in our healthcare, Prime Minister, that we have never seen before. We have reached a level of murder orchestrated by the government on the people of Jamaica that we have never seen before. We're not at war, mind you. We are not at war. We're not at war. 15,000 of us are being killed in a makeshift refugee hospital run in in a makeshift refugee healthcare system run by Andrew Holness and Dr. Christopher Tufton. Let's listen to Pansita Pickles.
In Farabanya, in Banya, in a Jamaican citizen, in leader Banya, in leader Father Mother Banya, and they never gonna sleep. They never have no whip beating our ancestors. So we have to say, why to the slave owners and who want reparations? No. Anybody benefited from Finsack and slavery. We want about the money to build housing and invest in education and health care for the people of Jamaica. Shower labor rights.
Shower labor rights. Going to be in a dirty skin. Now, Pansita Pickles is taking a swipe at Mark Golden. And not just Pansita Pickles. I hear the labor rights since Mark Golden became leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, but not so far then. Since Mark Golden ratings continue to improve, the labor rights are now going at reparations. Labor rights. Labor rights. Your government is in power. I soon have to done my TikTok battery soon dead. Your government, labor rights, is in power. When it comes to the question of reparations, your Prime Minister, who is a member of Her Majesty's Privy Council, not to be confused with the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, which hear cases, which hear appeals. He's in the perfect position to lobby for reparations. Why is it all of a sudden? Let me see if I get a charger to put in my phone. Bear with.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation. Because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it pick a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there.
Welcome back. Now, on the matter of reparations, labor rights, it is the British state, not the Golden family. The British state, not the Golden family. The reparations that were paid to the British farmers by the state of Jamaica, which was paid labor rights up until 2015, wasn't paid by the Jamaican farmers or slave owners. It was paid by the state of Jamaica. So, me know son of dance, me know say it's a drowning man clutching after a straw. But if it is labor rights that you want reparations, then your Prime Minister is in a very good position to advance that conversation with Prince Charles. Your JLP government ought to be doing that. Mark Golden and the Golden family is not the state of Britain. I wonder what want the reparation for doing. But it's useless. Oh, Jesus. We just have to go bear the dunceness with the labor rights. The Prime Minister was giving a speech sometime this week at the Ministry of what look at Tiffin boy they work, the Perdell Charles one. Labor and Social Security. The video, I screen recorded it, but it's on the phone, which I'm doing TikTok on at the moment, so I don't have access to the video. What the Prime Minister was speaking about, though, is how his... Don't cuss. Do not cuss, because the part will make me cuss. Don't cuss. Don't. What the Prime Minister was speaking about was how his government was working to what kind of equality? Pay equality. This was a Prime Minister who gave the Parliament 300% pay rise. A meager, very meager 20% to those who hold our country up, the civil service, the public sector workers. And this Prime Minister stood at the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and told the people of Jamaica that his government is working towards income equality. Jesus Christ. I curse that day. I curse. Income equality, said the Prime Minister. A Prime Minister who has given himself 300% pay rise and a meager 20% to public sector workers. This government, this is the thing that irritates me about Andrew Holness. And don't cuss. Don't cuss. No, don't cuss. You see, you who Miss Lou called the do the fetics, you the hobble skirt and the high heels and the neckties and briefcase and gentleman shoes, on all those seeking to verify yourself as something you're all not. Because I heard Mark Golden said Michelle Charles don't have class, and the labor rights were going hissy fit about it. It is obvious, darling, dear. Michelle Charles doesn't have class. Not even the one that you sit in with book. Michelle Charles don't have. Andrew Holness and his government just a take with us, and we're not coming back. Jamaica people, it is our fault. Tanisha Hayden, welcome to Global TV. It is our fault where the country is going. We have handed over our country to crooks and criminals. We have not paid attention to what the crooks and the criminals of the Jamaica Labour Party been doing to our country. Andrew Holness come tell we now about income equality. This is what me tell you, Andrew Holness talk to it all the time like we don't. Uno will sit on the Miss Thomas high chair up there and I'm going like we don't hear where the higgler and the street sweeper and all of that and them who go do garden and wash clothes. We know somebody. But Mark, me tell you, Andrew Holness talk to Uno just like him talk to we. Because those who work in the public sector are expected to be the brighter of us. Those who go off into government departments and all of those bullshit, or teachers or nurses, or those are seen to be the brighter. of us. But listen, brighter people, when Andrew Holness talk, if him don't talk to you just like the fish vendors, the higglers, and those who society see of a lesser educational advantage, he speaks to all of us the same. Because when Andrew Holness came out a few days ago to speak about how well his government was doing on income equality, he was speaking to you, the nurses, the doctors, the teachers, and all of you government workers who are struggling. Who are struggling. And to put all of we in the same boat, all of us under the Andrew Holness regime are in the same boat. There is not an educated and affluent Jamaica under the Andrew Holness regime. All of us are treated the same by this government. It is why they can kill us and kill our babies, and nobody act as if anything will happen. It is why they can unleash synthetic chicken on us in the name of KFC to kill us off faster. And there we go, buying that four-corner box, the same box that we're going to be buried in. Only one is a paper and one is wood or steel, Jamaicans. One is paper, the other is wood or steel. But the KFC Society Jamaica, where them gorge uno down to, uno don't have hospital figure, uno cannot afford the hospital bill Jamaica, and still uno wad uno self with KFC. Gone are the days when Jamaica people used to be slim and trim. Men and women have lost their waistline now. And one and two people around with it grow fat back in those days. Everybody know KFC put out a weight and shape, but we don't have hospital. The hospital is killing 15,000 of us on a yearly basis. And we are running faster in the KFC lines, into the Chinese line, into the ramen noodle line, into the pizza line, Jamaica. And oh, Dr. Tufton tell us to run. Dr. Tufton tell us to run. With the acidic stomach and the high sugar level, the high pressure level, the high cholesterol level. You think the running is going to help the high cholesterol, the high sugar, or the high pressure? They call them hypertension and hyperglycemic. We are our biggest problem, Jamaica. We walk a bush and look for with debt. Anansi defines us. We see trouble a bush, which was our politicians, and we take them up care come a yard. We see trouble a bush, and then we take it up care come a yard. Mark Golden and your team, I don't see anything to sing and dance about. I mean, step up, but I don't think you all are robust enough as an opposition as you are all ought to be. Because if the recent subversion of the Constitution, if it is that, it ought to something that ought to be taken to the court. It's the PNP come out and come say so. It's the Gleaner right and say so. So the PNP and the Gleaner, if it is not the truth, one must come clear the Prime Minister's name. Because we now gonna have nobody run propaganda upon with gooder, betterer Prime Minister. So if we good, betterer, bestest Prime Minister never do it, then the PNP and the Gleaner ought to come out and clear the story. But for now, the PNP and the Gleaner left the story out there, just like that. And if it's there, we're going to have our own analysis on it. And if that is the case, it would have been a subversion of the Constitution, which Mark Golding and the PNP should have sought an emergency application in the court rather than coming out to tell us that Andrew Holness has subverted the Constitution. And I'm not sure if Donna Scott Motley and the People's National Party went into explaining to the people what Andrew Holness have done, why he have done it, and what the implications are. The implications are is that our constitutional convention, which Andrew Holness liked to attack, which Donald Trump loved to attack in the American system, has been broken under Andrew Holness. It is why Marlene Malahoo Fort is wallowing to tell us that we have never called the Constitution says this because we have never paid attention to the Constitution document when it comes to calling the election. What we do, Marlene Malahoo Fort, we pay attention to what is called the Constitutional Convention, unwritten norms. Unwritten norms. Accepted unwritten norms, which is followed by all governments on both sides. Husband give me a problem. Welcome. Thanks for the follow. On both sides, everybody follow that principle of calling election within the 4-year cycle. Was there ever a time we go down to the 5-year wire as this Prime Minister has? Can anyone remind me if that's the case? Have we ever gone down to the 5 years wire as we have on this particular occasion? Good, better Bessie Prime Minister, because say everything Andrew do it Bessie good first, and this guy has taken so much of Donald Trump, it's unbelievable. He has taken on so much of Donald Trump is unbelievable. The people of Jamaica has allowed Andrew Holness to get away with hell, literally. This Prime Minister has been allowed, and particularly also because of a very weak opposition. Yes, we know they are weak in Parliament. That is understandable because of the unbalance of power in the Parliament at the moment. But that's not the only power the opposition has. Noise is one of those powers. Educating the people, informing the people, making sure the people always in the know is one of that power that the opposition has. Going to the court, taking them to court. They use that. I don't think they do enough, though. But the opposition has more power than just voting against the government legislative agenda. There's many things that we have been scrutinizing the government about that the People's National Party is really soft on. That's not good opposition. Andrew Holness' government has regularly give us things that we can stuck our claws in. All of us are opposition, but without us, the people, in the social media spheres holding the opposition line for the country, I really don't know where we would have been at the moment. Because even in the midst of glaring publicity and constant coverage, this Prime Minister continues to attack the Constitution, continue to attack the legislative process, continue to ramble on with dismal governance, lack of integrity, lack of accountability, and a lack of openness under this government. What would it be for our country should Andrew Holness be given a third term? You as Jamaicans at home who will be going to the polls whenever the election is called need to think on that. Can I tolerate another 5 years of Andrew Holness? Can I watch Andrew Holness pilfer the public purse? Professor Trent, how are you, Professor? Professor Trent! Wagwan. I heard you the other day, Professor Trent. Professor Trent, me have to go be rude now. Me have to go be rude, Professor Trent, but I don't know if I'm rude already. Oh God, Professor Trent, who teach you then something then? I feel so you listen to something then, Professor Trent. When the engineer, I feel so the engineer teach you to talk bullshit, Professor Trent. God no. I was for, I don't remember whose live you were on the other day, but you were in the box, Professor Trent. And I said to myself, my God, he does not talk bullshit when he's writing in the comments. He speak it out of his mouth as well. But Professor Trent, Mandela Trent, the engineer, and some of you other guys, there's no problem in defending your party. That I understand. God, I don't have one to defend. But Uno can be a bit more honest. The constant attack on Mount Golden, Professor Trent, is unwarranted. Uno sound petty. Uno sound bitchy. The bringing up of the Finsack and Gary Bunting and Golden and all of that, which Uno cannot justify, which Uno cannot give a coherent argument around the issue. It is election time, Professor Trent. I beg of you to promote your Prime Minister. I have been saying that to you for quite some time. Promote your Prime Minister. Tell us of the wonderful things that this Prime Minister has done. Tell us of the things that this Prime Minister has accomplished. It is what you should be doing at this point. The way the Jamaica Labour Party is behaving like they're in opposition, criticizing the government, because that's the mood that you're all in. You're behaving like you're all in opposition. How about the attack on the Prime Minister by the PM? It is warranted. Let me tell you why it is warranted. Because Mark Golden soon will be in that position. The Prime Minister has no integrity. Mark Golden regularly said that that is true. It's not an attack. It's just speaking the truth. Put the attackers, put that bit aside. The Prime Minister is making decision for the entire country. The Prime Minister has made some bad decisions. The Prime Minister had made some selfish decisions. The Prime Minister ought to be criticized. If the Prime Minister don't want to be criticized, Professor Trent, or if you all don't want your Prime Minister to be criticized, it is simple. Step down. With all fairness, Andrew Holness is doing a tremendous job. A new word tonight. We go from successful to good to now tremendous. Can you elaborate, Professor Trent? Elaborate on tremendous. Break down tremendous. Point to us in what area is the tremendosity is going on. Point to the tremendous project. Professor Trent, name them. What project of the Prime Minister was tremendous? Which social policy of the Prime Minister was tremendous? Come on, name them. And don't tell me about the new social housing, nor the roads which we pay him to do, or the pension that existed from me. Picking when me used to collect a post office with my grandmother. New social pension. The blood clot tired to call the word new, sir. Knew this, knew that, knew this. Break down, explain, elaborate, tremendous. Because labor rights come with these one glossed over word. Great job. Tremendous job. How though? Break it down. Explain it. What it is. Where it is. Your government, Professor Trent, your government has had the legislative wheel of this country for 5 years, where this Prime Minister could make meaningful legislative change that benefits the people. Like suck wood, like a boy there, you know the one we're born in London, yeah. Matthew Samuda. I come tell we say, them are going to give a beach for walk on. When this government, with its unfettered majority, could have legislate and remove the barriers from the legislation to tap with and walk on the beach, Mark Golden and his team couldn't have challenged it. It would have sailed through the parliament, just like when Andrew Holness wants to fuck up anything and sail it through the parliament within hours. Professor Trent, what is tremendous about us not being able to visit our beach when it's the first time we have a government, True Love, that have unfettered legislative power since 1993, since 1983. Why is it then, Professor Trent, we have been calling out on this issue for so many years under this Andrew Holness regime, and Andrew Holness have not brought legislation to Parliament to make sure change it and give us beach to walk on. But no, this little boy I come tell we say, them are going to give we beach to walk on, Professor Trent. Kaya Mandela no strength, you know, is Trent. Because there's a difference in strength and Trent. Uno Trent, uno strength. Because I don't know what some of you men in the Jamaica Labour Party are teaching the young people of Jamaica. And that's why I cannot wedge myself to political tribalism. I am wedged to Jamaica. I am going to blow with the wind. If Labour do good, me will come up and say it. If PNP do good, I'll come up and say it. Like the Solidarity Program, Prime Minister. Labor rights on a blood clot cheap stuff. Sorry for the bad word, but it irritates me because I know me listen to TikTok all the while. Me hear the labor rights them over TikTok is justifying the $20,000 Andrew Holness is giving away under the Solidarity Program. 20,000 Jamaican dollars in 2025. Not able to feed a family of 4 for a week. And labor rights are hailing 20,000 Jamaican dollars. Have you ever seen Andrew Holness does anything that is not rejigged? Professor Trent? Andrew Holness revive Eddie Siaga Solidarity Program. Those who benefited from Mr. Siaga Solidarity Program in the 80s remember that that was something beneficial. Well, if you say it's a give back then, or you are putting the lesser advantage in a better position, Mr. Siaga Solidarity Program made sense. The money, I don't remember how much the money was then, but given the rate of how things were then, Mr. Siaga Solidarity Program benefited a lot of people. I remember people who got money from that Solidarity Program went to Caracor, Curacao, however you want to pronounce it, and Panama and so on, and get into the Higla business, buy clothes and sell, set up them little small business, set up them shop and around. Yes, the Mr. Siaga Solidarity Program does that. Andrew Holness comes back in 2025 with the Solidarity Program, another rejig. Why didn't you call it the new Solidarity, Prime Minister? $20,000. $20,000 can't feed a family of 4 for a week. It could never put somebody in a position where they could go and start a small business like in the days of Mr. Siaga's Solidarity Program. And at that, Uno and Andrew talk about labor right. Uno sound cheap. Cheap. They're going like $20,000. And no, Andrew Holness, it's not a tax give back. A tax give back, Prime Minister, is an annual thing. What you have done is sought to use the public purse to buy votes, Prime Minister. Sir, I want to see. You have used the public purse, Prime Minister, to buy votes. Cousin Marina Wagwan. That's what this tax give back and the Solidarity Program, who you say is extended to those who does not get caught in the dragnet of the tax bracket. In closing, Jamaica, remember when you go to the poll that for 9 years we have been under siege by a criminal gang posing in the name of the Jamaica Labour Party. It's only criminals that you would regularly see the court ruled against on a regular basis. Andrew Holness has shown us that even prime ministers can be open, ruthless, and lawless criminal. Ruthless and lawless criminal. So, Professor Trent, we're waiting for you to explain tremendous to us. Kind of come with these words: successful, tremendous, and all sort. What does that mean, though? What does tremendous mean, Professor Trent? The problem in our country is the docility of the people. And I've asked Mark Golden this, and I'm going to ask him again. Will you, Mark Golden, and your team decalcify our waters? When I go ban KFC, because I would have asked to ban KFC. The calcification of the pineal gland is what is stopping us from thinking. We have been put to sleep. We have been calcified. We have been hardened up. So even while our eyes are open, we are still fast asleep. That's why Andrew Holness and his regime can steal blatantly in front of us, can commit crimes in front of us, can kill 32 babies in front of us, can kill 15,000 Jamaicans a year in front of us. And there's no outrage because our pineal glands, our connection to God, have been cut off by the system. They calcified our water and they give us lab chicken to eat. Anything Bill Gates have sharing like Desno and Geddes, Heineken, KFC, Coke, brr, brr, avoid it. Avoid it. Son of Punkos, can you elaborate on the word tremendous for us? Punkos boy, one hour to come over here and say the Prime Minister has done a tremendous job. Could you break down the tremendous? Him just drop the tremendous and him run gone. Can you break down the tremendous? Can always come over here with a big word they want to can't break down, give the meaning to, or give an explanation to. Labor rights are not welcome over here, Don't think you all are not welcome. But don't welcome with the dunceness and the bad mannerism. I want somebody to have bad manners on global TV, and it's me who is sitting here. Me, Toto, one. The rest of you must follow the rules, including the Prime Minister. Probably, if one of them make a Prime Minister follow a rule, if one of them make a leader of the Jamaica Labour Party follow a rule, when a party wouldn't in a dismal spot at the moment, Opal's Kitchen, how you do? When a party wouldn't be in a dismal spot at the moment, what all on a can do is run around and speak these broad brush words without anything behind it to articulate how this Prime Minister is being best and best-east. And I can't just come out and say he's the best or he's the best-east Prime Minister without being able to break down to the public why he's the best-east. Remember, when we come out here, we can tell him why him is a thiefist, why him is the most criminalist, why him have the less integrity, why he's a dictator, why he's a criminal. We can explain all that, we can go into the different things that he done as to why we've come up to that conclusion. Tell me how you got to the conclusion that this prime minister is successful. He's done a tremendous job. He's done a great job. Tell us. And don't come here with a big word them one can't spell. We'll probably Google help on if you write. Tremendous job, he says. Anyway, thank you for all being here this evening on Global TV. I know I was been away for days, but I couldn't help it because one man with one nail and hammer come in on my mouth. The one of the bottom left that was given the problem that they say was a dry sac and became infected. And literally the pain, me never feel toothache like this in years, probably over 2 decades, honestly. One at a time, earlier up in the week, before me start antibiotic them, it really feel like somebody was in my left jaw corner. And then, you know, when they give the strike the nail hard 2 times, but even if me lay down, me have to jump up and pay attention to the pain. That's how dangerous the toothache was. Day and Wagwan. That's how dangerous the toothache was, my people. I have not felt toothache like this in decades, where somebody I use nail and hammer, and me can't do nothing but pay attention to the nail and the hammer. Is the NIDS him want to give the people? Why him giving the $2,000? You see, it's only licky people will get caught by the NIDS, you know, Barbara, because the court has already ruled the NIDS unconstitutional. So if any at all, this government try to push his NIDS on you for any reason, you can refuse it, which you ought to do, and you have a winnable case against the government in the courts. Yes, Andrew Holness, because we remember the other day he tried to use Beryl to push it, him and Pernell Charles, to say, oh, if you all have NIDS, it would be so easy and straightforward to register everybody, blah, blah, blah. Dry socket is usually the patient's fault. I had one before. I rinsed too early and dislodged the clot. But I didn't rinse it. I had them taken out Tuesday. I didn't rinse until Wednesday when they told me to rinse. Likewise, it's Tuesday when I had them out. They say don't spit, just swallow everything for the rest of that day. Then don't start rinse until tomorrow. But oh, mine went AWOL, Lynette. Mine went AWOL. AWOL. I mean, the nail and the hammer that was going on. It was, and hey, God, Jesus, my sister laugh after that part, yeah. I had to go back to the emergency dentist on Monday. So them send me one of the private and NHS dentists. This is the man pick up something sharp and pointed. I've come in my mouth. Them I come lift up the. I don't understand anyway, because I the same one where they stitch up, I that the one that they say end up with the dry socket. So I see him I go take out stitches and put in dressing. I say, no, sir, I'm not going back through the trauma of last week. Give me the antibiotic and the strong painkiller. I will go home, and that's what I did. But I won't wish to take Pan Andrew Holness right now, especially if they're using the nail and the hammer. If they're using the nail and the hammer, as it was in my case, I wouldn't want to wish it on Andrew Holness because it might go confuse him to call the election when he don't want to call. But anyway, thank you, my people, for understanding. But Andrew Holness, if you think to say, while we are going through with prodding and poking and patching up, you're going to sidetrack us or time shock us and call the election. Prime Minister, all from we sick bed, we're going to fight you at the general election. Because this upcoming general election, Prime Minister, the life of our nation hang in the balance. If we go with Andrew Holness for another term, certainly none of us know where the country will end up. What we do know, though, it won't be in a good position. And that is why it is on all of us to make sure we stand to protect our country at the ballot. If that is the much we can do, then that is what we ought to do in order to protect the life of our nation. Thank you very much for being here with us this evening. Join us back tomorrow where we will start it all over again for you on Global TV. Abina, how you do? How the place are going? How the place are going? All my family still. Abina, me say, may I tell you, the toothache knocked me up bad. I think to say, taking out these two wisdom teeth that was given problem would have been the end. But more problem came after the removal, believe you me. If they don't call it dry sack, they call it something else. Because they need to find a name to match with the pain. But anyway, thank you. Good night from Global TV. Join us right back here tomorrow morning when we will start it all over again. And don't forget that Dr. Tufton, the murderer, continue to wield the knife of death across our country. Be it adult or babies, Dr. Tufton will kill. Thank you and good night from Global TV.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear.
No, I mean, them the gene, they not so good at all.
And no first and four, make up what I seen to. Make him a throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red, aye. him and show one stone, and let's bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Take him and show one stone, and let's bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead can sell out Rasta. I sell a house, I sell out Babylon. Just come on the Friday. You might show a stone, and then bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing, you might show a stone, and then bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big him and show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black big him and show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rasta man show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all.
Thank you, my people. Good night, and see you all right back here tomorrow. Thank you. Good night. Global TV.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.
Tomorrow morning for your At a Glance.